Okay, everybody, it's me once again, the Jack Geek. I'm here to show you some new equipment I just got. And before you ask, it's actually some PC equipment this time. So what I have here is actually the Diablotek Keyboard PC. As you can see here, it's a nice, which you can see here, okay, everyone's saying, okay, it's a nice USB keyboard with a few slots to hook your mouse into. However, this is actually a full-size computer. As you can see here, we have ports here for your monitors, serial port, power supply port. Unfortunately, it's not one of those brick power supplies, it's a regular plug, and the power supply brick is down here instead of going in and taking up the entire wall. Monitor port, a secondary, another USB port that can hook your mouse in and actually give it a feel of the old school desktops. You see the monitors icon here and the mouse icon, so people know, okay, keep it real simple. Ethernet connection, built-in wireless, even though I do have an additional USB wireless, so I can use the antenna, plus it looks cool coming out of a freaking keyboard, as well as a few other additional USB slots here, and one on the side, as well as the power button, which is right here. So a lot of you guys are saying, okay, how do you get this thing up and running? Good question. There's it's really easy. You look here, you have your RAM slot, so all you need to do is unscrew this with a 4-head screwdriver, pull it down, pop in your RAM, and of course you can get 2 gigs of RAM relatively cheap for like $30 to $40 at Micro Center. So yeah, $200 just to get this, extra $30 to $40 for the RAM, slide in there, it plugs right in there. Any DDR3 laptop RAM runs flawlessly on here. Likewise, for the hard drive, use a laptop hard drive, unscrew this, pull it out. Hard drive just pops right in there, screw it back on, you're all set to go. So now everyone say, okay, guess what? Computer's up and running. Wrong. You need to add something very important, which would be your operating system. And actually, one simple and cheap way of doing this would be get a USB thumb stick, like the one I have in this bag. And of course, from here, copy a Linux distribution to the USB thumbstick, or a live distribution to the thumbstick. And one real easy way of doing this would be to actually go within Windows. There actually are plenty of USB pen drive programs. Is download, install it, and then from there, plug the USB stick into your machine, and it actually will copy the entire live distribution to your USB thumb drive. And there are also some variations on Linux. Easiest one I found out there was actually Fedora's USB thumb drive program. All you need to do is download it, pop your thumb drive into it in your machine, double click and run their program, and it automatically copies whatever ISO Fedora you have already downloaded on your laptop or your hard drive to this USB thumb drive. And let me repeat that. Make sure you download the latest Fedora ISO image first. And I highly recommend probably, 64-bit probably around here too, but maybe 32-bit also would be good. But yeah, download whatever flavor of Linux, whether it's Fedora or SUSE, onto here. And I'm saying Fedora or SUSE for a very good reason, because I found out this motherboard has a few issues which I'll go into in a few minutes. So either way, well, without further ado, basically get the lab installation on a USB thumbstick. So once you download this and have it installed to the thumb drive, double click, boom, boom. Of course, Fedora's USB program copies files to the thumb drive. Then from there you plug into the side of the PC, and it should automatically work. If it doesn't work, then you need to hit the delete or DEL key to go into your BIOS. So as an FYI, the delete key is right here. So click press the delete key when the system boots. Go through your BIOS and tell it to select the USB thumb drive as the primary hard drive to boot from. And from there, you should be good to go with your installation, with a few quirks here and there. And this is where I have to mention a few bugs I noticed in the Linux kernel with its hardware. Unfortunately, the latest Linux kernel sees this as having 2 monitors instead of 1 monitor port. So what happens is it sees an internal monitor which does not exist. And it makes matters worse, it sees the internal monitor as the primary monitor instead of the secondary monitor. So what it'll do is it'll actually stretch the screen out. Instead of doing a mirror screen, it stretches it out to 2 displays by default. So Linux guys, you may want to make the default setting to be a mirror display, just as an FYI, because this bug has appeared on other pieces of hardware, and it's a notice people, so just as an FYI. And also be a good idea to do this so that other distributions other than other than the RPM-based distros actually work on a piece of hardware like this. So to correct this issue, when you boot up, you'll see a blue screen. Laugh out loud, blue screen was actually the wallpaper that Fedora gives you by default. And then your real desktop is then a hidden internal monitor that doesn't exist. So what you have to do here is, you have to right click on move your mouse cursor, you can see on the screen, right click, go down to settings, and then from there, go to settings, go to display, disable internal monitor, and then next thing you know, bing bang boom, you have one display, which would be your Fedora desktop. So at this point, what you'll do is you look for the install Fedora to your hard drive icon, double click on that, and then of course follow the prompts to pretty much reformat the hard drive you just put inside of here to match the Linux distribution. And then from there, obviously create your root password, user account you're going to use on this machine, and of course the installation goes normal. Wait a little bit. Once the installation is complete, obviously set up your obviously before you do your installation, set the wires up to match the wireless connection you have at home or your Ethernet connection, so you can actually download the packages while the installation is taking place. So without further ado, okay, now you have Fedora up and running the machine, reboot your machine, and there's one little gotcha that's going to hit you. When you boot up, you're going to see that same screen again with no icons, but you'll see your mouse cursor. What this means now, yeah, you ran into a problem where it's not seeing your screen at all, and instead of seeing the blue screen, now see the default gray screen because now you're stuck in the boot screen. Sorry, you're stuck in the login screen, but you have nowhere to log into. To fix this, move the mouse cursor off sight of the screen that you guys see, click on it. At this point, type in your password, hit enter, and you're good to go. Sometimes you might hit either the tab key or the Windows key. Does the same thing. Click on it again. If that still doesn't work, well, actually, click on it again, backspace all the way back to make sure you don't have anything in that field. Type in your password, hit enter, and now you'll be logged in the machine. And of course, at this point, right click again, go to settings, go to display, disable internal monitor, and now you're at your own Linux desktop. Unfortunately, you gotta do this every time you reboot Fedora or Susan Pen with distro you're gonna use on here. But like I said, I highly recommend Fedora because it does have that workaround. And next thing people are going to wonder is, okay, this thing, when you look at specs for the Diablotek, that might make this thing so hard to pronounce, because I'm thinking about Diablotek Keyboard PC. You notice it has a 1.8 gigahertz Atom CPU. A lot of people are afraid that that's going to be super slow, but the CPU is actually relatively new. And Intel actually has done a good job performance-wise, so 1.8 gigahertz runs just as fine as a 3 gigahertz CPU from like 5 or 10 years ago. Sorry, from 6, 7, 8 years ago. So of course everything runs here smoothly. Unfortunately, there's no GPU built inside this, and you use shared video RAM, meaning no 3D acceleration. So don't even think about running Diablotek on here. It'll open Diablotek, because I actually made a mistake of installing it on here. However, when you try to run it, everything's going to move like this. So it's not going to run, it's going to crawl and barely crawl at that. And yeah, then it's going to take forever for the mouse to even recognize your movements, even go back to the main screen and exit out. So yeah, don't advise installing Diablotek or any other high-end 3D graphics program on here. However, 2D games work on here flawlessly. Free Doom runs flawlessly. All the free games that are, two-dimensional that I tried out from Fedora's repository works perfectly fine as well. Frozen Bubble runs good, and a few other ones run extremely smooth. And likewise, you have all the other stuff that runs from Fedora's repository runs fine on here. As long as it doesn't use 3D acceleration, and you're good to go. And that's one point, one final point I want to make is the fact that I went to the Red Hat's repository. I actually like their repository a little bit better than Linux Mint's repository. However, I like Linux Mint's Cinnamon desktop a little bit better than I like Fedora's current desktop. But, there are a few gotchas here and there. Even though Fedora's desktop is on the grow on me, especially with their nice little window manager once you get used to it, as of course, and definitely the package manager because they got everything nice and organized when you go to their software installation program that's built into the desktop. Alright, I think I've talked enough about this. I'll have more likely have a part 2 showing you guys exactly how well this thing actually runs, performs. But right now, it's time for me to actually get ready to hit chest. So I'm about to go ahead, fix my pre-workout meal, and upload this to YouTube, and I'll see you guys later on. See you guys later. Peace out.